Matt is an absolute superstar.
Mm.
What is it? What else did you want me to say? He's brilliant. His girlfriend says he's fantastic. She's hiding over there.
The door this all the time.
Weybridge 10K. Where we met, man. Where love first blossomed. Talk to me, tell me why it happened in the first place. Where did this run come from? Because this is 2 runs now, yeah?
2 runs.
Why did you start?
Good question. Why? So, I kind of grew up, well, I didn't grow up, I went to college in Brooklands, which is in Weybridge, and I kind of developed this strange attachment to the area because I used to go, I guess, to lunch every day in Weybridge, in the town, and a few years after leaving college, I just had this idea for an event in the town because nothing really happens there, and I kind of got that vibe from when I used to go in the town when I was at college. Not too much goes on, and between the time I left and having the idea, I was involved in big sports events, and I kind of put 2 and 2 together. Had this town, nothing's really going on. People generally seem a little bit bored, but they've got a really big fitness drive, as you know, in this area. They want something to do, so that's where it came from. And let's give them an event that, for the first year, closes the whole town down. Everyone knows about it, and yeah, just something to aim for all the fitness that they're doing.
So you were trying to like bring some spice to the town of Weybridge.
Yeah.
So were you studying this event stuff at college? Is that what you're saying?
No. I started to be a journalist and stroke. It was a really odd course. It was like a journalist stroke graphic design stroke media production. It's one of those courses you do when you don't really know what you want to do, and you just kind of look at it because it looks pretty cool. So that was 2 years of my life, and then I still left. I didn't really know what to do. So none of that stuff was related at all.
I didn't know I was doing it at college, mate. I was doing business and computers, so how I ended up here, I don't know. So you started it, but you weren't a runner.
No.
I need to know you. You're not the runner of the running group, right?
I'm not leading the race.
He's Mr. Runner. He knows about running.
Yeah.
You, to me, the business mogul, as I've called you today, you seem to set up. You're doing journalism. You know that there's a town that's empty, so you thought, I know what I'll do. I'll take on this big task of organising an event. Did you even know who it was for, or just anybody?
So, in between studying, I worked my way into it. I was working for a company that did events a little bit. So they were doing sports events. They worked with London Marathon, Reading Half Marathon, Nottingham Marathon. So some really big, kind of like 15,000 plus runner events. And I wasn't working directly for them, but I was involved in that process. So I was doing things like driving the lead cars for events, or putting up some route signs, or just marketing the races, things like that. So I kind of was in that environment, but at the very top level where you've got people that work for the London Marathon. So understanding how those come together, almost from the best place you can, which is one of the biggest events in the whole country. And that's kind of where I learned about how to bring these events together, how to market them, what people look for, how to make them really commercial, get some sponsorship, get some brand interest. So that's where that all kind of came from.
I see. Was it like, I would never have thought it was only the second run, and this is your first event like that, isn't it?
Yeah, first one.
If I turned up to that and people said on the day how well organised it is or professional it looks, I personally wouldn't expect that from someone who hasn't done it before. So you're saying, you'd seen basically the people that do it really well, and you were like, I'll do my best imitation of that.
Yeah, well actually the thought process at the start was not even thinking about what it's going to be like. So it wasn't even what the event's going to be necessarily, or how it's going to be organised. It was, can we get loads of people to take part? So rather than thinking of it as an event organiser, it was thinking of it as like a marketing project. I thought, how can I get, in this case it was 1,000 people, how can I get 1,000 people out of nowhere to come and enter this event. And that was almost the first couple months. And then it built up, and then all these people started entering. And then it was like, okay, right, how do I actually organise the event that all these people are going to come to? So it's complete reversal of thinking about it. But the benefit was we just had loads of people come here, and it just kind of escalated and escalated.
What was the time from idea to the first race?
About a year and a month, 13 months.
13 months. I want to paint a time scale in my head.
Yes, it was.
You've got an idea. What's the first thing you do?
Well, it was a curry and a beer.
Of course. Always start.
So that's how everything started. If you go back to the boat, it was a curry and a beer, probably a few beers, and it was like, what a great idea. And then it was, can we get the permissions to do it? We're quite digital, so it's like, I'm going to build a website, I'm going to do all the social channels, I'm going to create this big buzz about it, just to see if people would be interested. And I gave away 53 places, just to get people talking about it and some interest. And then we kind of did it all the wrong way around, really. And then we started looking at how to close all the roads in the town. I had this crazy idea of just closing everything and having this route that just goes around completely traffic-free roads. That was the idea.
And you managed to shut down the whole of Weybridge.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Because I've tried.
You've tried?
I'd love to get the whole of Weybridge to pay attention for one day. It's like a dream. How did you do that?
So we just asked. We just go to the council and say, this is our idea. We think it would be really good. It's going to put a lot of people in inconvenience, but we think the event's going to be bigger than the inconvenience it's going to cause. So the goal is to get more people involved than people that just think you're being annoying because you're closing the roads down. And we said, yeah, we're going to get 1,000 people to this big event. Our justification was that nothing happens in the town. We said there's no event that happens that brings this many people, so we're going to be the first to do this, and just give us a chance, and we'll do it. And they just said, yeah, go for it.
Well, good on you. That's what I think got me interested in your event. Because I've had some other running events talk to you, and I don't know if it's always from the right place, but you're basically saying what you said to the council was, we're encouraging lots of people to come together in a community that needs a bit of something to cling on to each year. We're going to bring life to your town for one day. And they've gone, we'll have a bit of that.
Yeah.
That's probably why I encourage people to get involved in this type of your type of events, because it is encouraging. Like the day is, it feels like you want everyone to do well. It's not like
just
a scary event.
Yeah, and they say, why do you want to close the roads? And it's because that's what brings the people in. So you almost justify that by saying this is what will make it a big event. Anyone can go around and run around the park, or you can do a small fun run in the park. Those are great, but to get this many people and to put it on the map, you have to do something big, which does cost the money, but it brings in the bigger numbers.
We'll talk about the money in a bit, because you haven't even mentioned that's part of the event. It's got to run itself, sustain itself.
Yeah,
it sounds like you didn't come into it for the money necessarily to start with.
No.
Is there money to be made in events? Because I see them everywhere now.
There is, and the ones that do well are the ones that get all the brand attention and sponsor attention, because an event that has a really big sponsor can pay for almost anything with the sponsors and everything else. And that's why a lot of these big events can give so much to charity, because they can get a lot of income from sponsors from the entrance, and there's almost quite a lot left over where they can give to charity, pay for what needs to be paid for, and still make a profit.
You now got the 5K as well that's come on board. Is this because you're thinking, we've got something good here in Weybridge, let's bring something even better, let's start throwing paint at everybody?
The colour run.
Yeah.
Yeah, well that's me thinking someone's going to come on our turf and try and do something like the colour run. So we're going to do our own colour run and make it better and make it more unique.
You want to dominate Weybridge?
Yeah, and give someone... So we get so many beginners to enter, and it's their first 10K, and we're so much more welcoming, I think, than a lot of other events, and that's why people always say, how do you get so many people in the first year? And all the marketing stuff's all good, but you have to be really welcoming to people where it's their first event. You have to say, we're not all going to close up the event before the first person finishes. Everyone comes across the line. You saw it last year. That lady that came across it was, I don't know who she was, but she was the last person that came in, and everyone still waits. Everything's still there. and she feels like she's done just as well as the person that came first. And that's the whole selling point. That's what not a lot of event organisers get, because they're all about just deliver it, get it done, make the most money, everyone goes home, sorted.
Oh, I definitely feel that. And I had Rebecca on a podcast a few weeks back. She said exactly the same. She's done loads of events. She would say that your event, our event, whatever you call it, was one of the most welcoming you can have. And she actively says she's a slow runner, like she would always be. I think she was second to last on the day. But she's doing it for her own sort of feel good and to inspire other people to get involved. And absolutely, I wouldn't have even remembered her time on the day. It was almost like everybody who comes over the line, it was like I was spraying in the face, it was so hot, high fiving everyone, it was great.
I think because I never was a runner. I run a little bit now, just so everyone's clear. I can run a little bit, but I think because I wasn't a runner, I thought of it from a completely different angle. I thought, what would I want from an event that I enter? I'd want a really cool medal and a good experience, and to feel like I'm not near the back, or I'm still part of everyone that finishes. I think that was my perception of it, and that's what I tried to put into this race. And you can tell loads of people think the same way because of how much interest there was. And a lot of people who organise events are either runners or have been long-distance runners, and they think about it from the people that are coming in, like first, second, third, the first 100, what times they get, so they get their ranking with Von Britain, all these things. I kind of just didn't care about that. I thought, how can everyone be happy?
Love that, mate. I want more of that, because that's me. Running without a football is what I do, but I want to get involved on the day. I know I need to do the warm-up, I've got a job to do, but you want to get involved. Are you involved this year?
Yeah.
You're running it?
I'm not... I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens on the day, so I'm not going to hang around.
We'll bring this back out.
Yeah, I'm so protective over making sure everyone's happy, so I like to be in the zone and see what's going on.
Yeah, can I talk about the day itself? Because it's amazing how, as a runner, you turn up, you run your event, you go home. It's happy days, you just want it to be as clean and great as possible. But you're organising a day like that, and I know the day itself, you were a different man. You look a bit more stressed than normal, right? Understandably, I think. On the day, what sort of things are you thinking about need to go right to make this happen how I want it to for my runners?
Yeah, I don't, because the stress thing comes from almost the whole year in this case, and these events are just like, this is just one morning, and it's not even 3 hours sometimes. But people will finish and they come back. It's because you put so much time, or chunks of time, almost every single day, leading up to one day, and then it's kind of out of your hands, because anything could happen. You just have to mitigate for every scenario. So your head's constantly thinking, what if this happens? Then this needs to happen. What if this happens? And that's the hardest thing.
Well, the first day, we got flooded. We didn't happen.
Yeah,
How did you feel when that happened? Like, you had a day, we had to postpone, like, last ditch. How did that feel, mate?
That's a really hard choice, because you have, so last year, it was flooded down the Thames, but we could still do the event. But the problem was, if someone falls into that river, then your time to rescue them goes up by X number of minutes. And then you have to think, if someone falls in, have we got the resource in place? Even if you do, which we would have done, that time still goes up. Then you think the worst case scenario, and then you think, is it safe for everyone? And going back to being so welcome to beginners, you think, how many beginners are going to be running? Is it going to be safe for every single one of them? If it's not, then you just pull the plug. And that's the hardest decision from both the event point of view, but also as a business, because you know that's going to cost you to make that decision. But you just have to make the right choice.
And you did. Let's go back to you, because I'm interested in you. You've done this thing, great thing. I admire you for it. Got to ask you about your health and fitness, mate, because you have got a job that isn't in health and fitness. You organise an event for health and fitness, but actually the process of organising it doesn't promote your health and fitness as an individual. How do you manage your own health and fitness whilst doing all this stuff?
This is going to be the shortest part.
Is it?
That's a good question. you get really inspired by it, and it's been like a journey where I've been inspired by the people that have taken part to then look at my own health and fitness. Because the one thing with these events, and if you look at it just as a business, it's so much time. And when this first started, I was already working full time. So this has then become, especially when it gets big, it becomes in itself a part-time, sometimes a full-time project. So that is your whole day, is your normal stuff. Then you've got this other project, and when more and more people enter, you become more responsible for it. And for me, it became like my sole focus, and to the point where you kind of not think about it. And as you got closer and closer, that's it. That becomes your whole thing. And I think I get guilty of just having that one focus, and then you forget about sometimes eating the right things, looking after your own health and fitness. So I've been in turn kind of inspired by people that take part, and now I put a lot more time into thinking of what I eat, cooking.
So the first event,
a bit more fitness.
You weren't thinking about yourself much.
No, I just thought,
because you had that classic, and what you said is true. Like that happens to all of us.
Yeah.
It's whatever becomes more important, and we always get people when you realise health and fitness becomes important. But you were so driven by that one event you planned. It was like, that is more important than anything else, so I'm going to keep go.
Yeah, which
then you were inspired and you thought, well, I better do something.
Yeah, and I thought that was a really good trick to have, that you're just so driven. But I've learned it's not, you can't just have that one focus, because your balance just goes completely off. And I felt so, and ironically it works, because it still makes it a big event and it goes really well, and you build this big project. So you do need a little bit of that, but you can get really guilty of just cutting down everything else in your life.
So definitely, I have a business, you have a business, we've spoken about it before. Business is definitely one. When you're driven to be better at something, you do push for that so much. I'm trying to find out or work out how to help people like us understand before you sort of have to, how you can balance it, and that if I look after my health and fitness, I will be able to perform better at my business because I'm healthy.
Yeah, and they go hand in hand. You're more productive when you are in a better mindset, and otherwise you run yourself into the ground and you become less productive, but you spend more time doing those things. Whereas if you in a better mindset, you're more productive in the less hours, and that ultimately makes things go better.
So have you got a better balance now? What is the balance?
Not working every single evening is the first step. It's a much better balance. It's looking at the weekends and spending the time a bit better, and thinking what has to be done, and only doing things that need to be done, taking a bit of a step back. And the biggest thing is letting go. And the event being sold end of last year was a big example of kind of realising it becomes too big for you as an individual, and you want it to go somewhere, but you can't necessarily do that all on your own. As much as you want to do it on your own, you realise that it's going to take over your life to do that. So that's where that all kind of came from. How do I let go a little bit, give myself more time, try and focus on other things in my life that I enjoy, and accepting that it becomes too big for you, and then you pass it on. So that's where that kind of came from.
So just to clarify, Wayward's 10K was yours. Now an event's come in to help deliver it and take some of the strain off you as an individual for doing it.
Exactly.
And that's enabled you to then think about your health, probably more excited about this year's event as a result.
Yeah, and then focus on what I enjoy the most, which is talking about the event, marketing the event, getting new people involved, reaching out to more beginners. All those things I'm freed up just to focus my time on when I do have time for those areas, rather than worrying about how many toilets do we need.
So thinking of someone else like you out there who's like striving to do something with business, trying to feel better, have you got a tip for them? Any tip to help them prepare for what's about to come in terms of the growth, and then looking after your own health and fitness at the same time?
That's probably the worst example.
But I don't think you are.
It's really tough, because you can't, unless you put that time in and you put the hours in and you really focus on something, you can't get to that point. But I've always thought of it, the more you do that, the quicker you get to where you want to be. And you probably think the same. The more hours you put, you think, especially with a business, if you're not doing stuff on the business, you think you're going behind. And I always had that mindset: if I'm not working, I'm falling back. Someone else is working and getting further ahead, or someone else is going to come into that town and do something that's going to be bigger. So if I'm not doing things, I'm falling back.
It's like a boxer's mentality, that is.
Yeah.
I can't remember what boxers said that, but they were like, yeah, I'll go out running really early at 4 or 5 in the morning, so I know that I'm up before my opponent, getting ahead of them.
Mm.
That's that mentality, isn't it?
But the best advice is you don't need to know these things. So I don't need to know, for example, all the health and safety aspects. I don't need to know how the road closure is going to be implemented. I don't need to know necessarily how to market in all the fancy ways you can market things nowadays. But as long as you have a reasonable understanding, which anyone can just learn, you can delegate, or you can, in my case, you can get a company to come in and do the health and safety. You can get special marshals to come in and do the road closures. You just have to understand the big picture, and it's easier when it's your own project. I think a lot of people have jobs where they work for someone and they don't understand what they're doing. When it's your own baby, in this case, and you're the person behind it, you can bring in everything together and you understand the big picture, and it becomes a lot easier.
I need some of that advice, man. And it, you're your own man, you can do it all yourself, and I'm trying to learn now how you can delegate. Is that the word? Delegate?
Yeah, which is hard, because it's hard to trust other people.
It's got to let go. It's got to be done. I'm in the health and fitness game, and if I go through phases where I'm not doing health and fitness and I'm not in the gym all day, I've got zero excuse.
Yeah.
But it happens, and like you said, you always think, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, because I want to go somewhere.
Yeah, because there's always things on your list. And when it's your own business, no one's telling you what to do, which is hard, because you have your own list of things to do, and you'll just keep doing them. I think the biggest thing is finding a structure and planning your time as best as possible.
That's what I'm getting from that. Look for ways to delegate or free up time for yourself. And then actually go and do it. Like, be clever about doing it, action it. I'm going to go and do that tomorrow, mate.
I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow.
Where's the future?
Well, I've got the new colour run. That's number one. So we've got that in July. We've got a pizza run. So that's not mine, but there's the guys that do that across the country, and I convinced them to come to Weybridge and call it the Surrey Pizza Run. So that is a run with pizza. Colour run's a run with colour. So I'm looking at this kind of Weybridge had nothing in it before, and I'm just going to give it so much stuff. So, but they all kind of be different. So there's the big 10k where it's a proper event, it's road closed. You've got something, the colour run's a bit of fun.
Colour run, for anyone that doesn't know, is throwing paint on people while they run, isn't it?
Yeah, colour powder.
What's the pizza run? I can't go past the pizza run.
You can try and guess.
Am I running with pizza in my mouth? Or is it like running from pizza shop to pizza shop? What's the crack here? Whatever way, it's brilliant.
They used to give you the pizza and then you run. But they decided, which I think for the best, is you run, then you get the pizza when you finish.
So you've got to finish it to get the pizza.
Yeah.
Motivation.
I like that one along with the other events. Loads of these ones I see and they're a bit faddy, and the run takes a back seat. So the concept is the run is always an important part. So even though it's, say, a colour run, pizza run, wherever it is, the run is still important. So these things are still aimed at beginners that might be put off from doing a proper event. They can still do a run that's well organised and kind of achieve something. And then the bit at the end is just a bit of fun, whether it's called the pizza run, the colour run. But the run always stays the focus. And that is, I think, the winning formula for these events.
What about distant future ideas that you don't need to commit to, but I'm just intrigued what sort of other ideas there are with running? Is there any you've looked at?
Yeah, there's one in my head. It's a secret one.
Oh, is it?
It's a secret one. It's like Weybridge, but all over again. Because that for me was like the golden nugget. That was a location that no one knew about. Like literally no one in the industry knew about that town. And how affluent it is. And how much of a fitness buzz there is in that town. And that for me was the nugget. That's what made it so big. Because it's just that town that I knew about but no one else knew about. But there's other towns I know about that other people don't know about. And there's definitely opportunity to do something like that again. But that might be a few years away.
But that's your mission?
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Well, thanks for bringing it to Weybridge, mate. obviously excited about 10k colour run. Knew about them. The peace run's just coming to my head now. When is that?
That is in May.
Mate, so we've got like a proper good little stint of Weybridge activity.
That is little ones, yeah.
Yeah.
We can see. I suppose you can probably just attach anything to run, and that could be a great idea.
I need to come up with an idea. Don't know what, but I'm, as we've said, I'm encouraging whoever's into fitness or thinking about doing a running event, if they can get to Weybridge, any of those, whatever takes your fancy, you'll be welcomed. Won't you? That's the message for the Weybridge runs that you're doing. It doesn't matter if you like pizza, do the pizza one. If you like getting splashed in the face,
yeah, they're organised with the experience above the cost. So that's always the main thing. It's not really being treated too much like business. It's been about the longevity, because if you build something that people have a good time at, it will still be around in 10, 15, 20 years. If you build something that's for the short term win, it will go, because people won't be interested. They'll do it once and will never come back. So if you take the hit now, it's got more longevity. People will keep coming back every year, and that's how you grow.
Love that, mate. Well, you seem to know what you're doing, and I'm excited about the journey. Could you give one last message to end it to the people of Weybridge? Someone in Weybridge right now is sitting there who's seen the events advertised and decided not to book it yet. I know they are because I speak to them. What would you say as the organiser of these events to that person?
That's a tricky one. There's so many different reasons I get told why people enter, so that's really hard. It's a chance to, most people are in the area, right? So it's a chance to run in your hometown. That has to be the biggest selling point. Especially, say Weybridge this year, the roads are closed. If your family's around, they can see you running through the town centre. That has to be the reason why.
I want you two people of Weybridge, come on and say hello. I'm going to be there. Hopefully doing the start, warm-up thing. Am I?
You're doing that for the colour run.
Am I? Excellent. No,
yeah,
I'm there. If anyone doesn't know the events, basically what happens is you turn up on the morning, usually an early time, isn't it, man? You turn up to this event, presumably in a paint-ready T-shirt for the colour run.
A white T-shirt.
And you get ushered around. It's all very organised. It's the race village, as we call it. I then bomb along in my blue T-shirt, get you warm and ready, and then you go off and do your event.
Yeah.
And then we greet you at the end, and that's what you were saying about. I think the biggest selling point for people who are in Weybridge or surrounding areas is the fact that you will 100% feel good for doing the event. You'll be encouraged by everyone who's there. I'm certainly sending you off with the vibe of whatever happens, go and enjoy it. You come through at the end, everyone's high-fiving, it's so supportive on the day. Get involved,
That's it.
What's the worst that can happen? Everyone in your village sees you fall on your face. But we've all had that happen, haven't we, man?
All of that.
I saw you in Noir. It's the local bar, by the way.
Just by there for a while.
Well, Matt, thanks, mate. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. We'll
Thanks
see you again, no doubt. Inspiring, I hope, for some people out there.
Hope so.
You've been listening to the Fit with Frank podcast. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button right now so you can be first to be notified of new episodes released every week, where Frank dives deep, chats with some of the finest guests across the health and fitness industry, alongside inspiring stories from people just like you, so we can inspire and hopefully empower you to lead a happier, healthier lifestyle. Have fun.